Hello guys, this is Rocktek from Rocktek Gameplay and we're going to be playing some War for the Overworld today. Oh, let me just adjust my volume, because otherwise my ears would explode. Yeah, a little bit different from Xenoverse, just going to be playing some of this. It's a sort of, it's a spiritual successor to the Dungeon Keeper games if you've ever played them. If you haven't, head over to Good Old Games and grab them because they are some of the best games ever, and they're dirt cheap as well. This one has come out on Steam recently. It's been in early access for a couple of years. It's not quite finished, even though they've released it. By their own admission, they've kind of turned around and said, "Yeah, we made a boo-boo." But I have a gut feeling that they might have been pressured into doing it. I'm not too sure. We'll go ahead anyways. I'm going to jump straight into a bit of the campaign because I've already started playing a bit. So a little backstory about me in this game. When I first started playing it, I actually hated it. It was way too early into its alpha. It was expensive for what we were getting and for the rate that it was having content released to us. But it's shaped into something that's playable now. I do enjoy it. I do enjoy it because it's the kind of games I like and because there's a couple of tweaks that they've done to make it more fun. There's a hell of a lot of room for improvement. So I guess I'm kind of making this as an audio commentary for my thoughts as I play it on things that could be better and just to show you guys what it's all about. So we're going to jump straight to the campaign. Like my other videos, I'm going to try and be quiet when the big guy is talking. It's very difficult on this because he does love to go on. Some of his things are funny because he's the same voice actor from the old Dungeon Keeper games. Other things, less funny and very erratic. So let's see. I'll try to be quiet as and when they come. Let's get cracking. We're on World 6. So basically, this is the campaign map. You start off in these little zones here. I believe that's my world, or the player's world, and you make your way down through these various little islands. As you can see, they've been raised, they're on fire, they look really, really mashed, and kind of nice to live in if you're an evil overlord. Whereas the rest of the land is fairly uncorrupted, still looks quite high fantasy, like that looks like elves. This looks like a human kingdom / dwarf, whatever. So, yeah, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be going over to another Overlord's world. We managed to get through to it on this level, and he lives here. So I'm going to click on this, and it will give us a little bit of info on that level.
The Empire seems to think that this war is best fought on our own territory, for they enter Raskos's realm in droves. Before you lies the portal through which they mount their assault. Destroy it, and you will cut off their supplies and their single path of retreat.
Sorry about this, loading screens are a little bit long. I'm not too sure why just yet. Graphically, the game, it's mixed. In some bits it's beautiful, in other bits you can see it needs a lot of work. That might just be a coding error with the loading.
The Empire continues to put pressure on Raskos's realm. Many of his defeated minions have been brought here and imprisoned by the Empire. This domain has been entirely overrun, and still more reinforcements spill from the portal to the north. While they are well supported, they've made the mistake of imprisoning Raskos's minions. These minions will happily join your cause, if you can liberate them from their greasy jailers.
Right, I'm going to try and talk. Like I say, this guy is going to talk over me, so we're going to try and work in harmony together. So, this here is your dungeon core, which used to be the dungeon heart for the Dungeon Keeper games. If that gets killed, you die. Game over. So your main objective is to make sure the enemy does not get close enough to that to screw you over. Secondary objective is basically to spread these little guys, these workers here, to go and gather resources, build rooms for you, that sort of thing. So we'll drop him here. If you want to motivate them, being the evil overlord that you are, you can give them some physical encouragement. And beat the living crap out of them. But if you know, if you don't want to do that, you don't have to. You give them a temporary boost of energy if you do that. They tend to kind of forget about it, probably because they're concussed. I'm not too sure. I've never stopped to ask any of them. That's an old mechanic from the Dungeon Keeper games that they've kept, which is good because it's very much in the spirit of the game. What's worth mentioning as well is, as I play through this, I am a massive Dungeon Keeper fan. The people that made this are also massive Dungeon Keeper fans. Now they've said that they were going to make an active effort to make sure that it's not anything like it, but you're going to find similarities in the design. So I'll get cracking and show you a little bit more. If you hear any other noise in the background, that'll just be my partner shuffling around doing her thing. There we go. Evil Overlord voice there for you. So here we go. So what I'm doing now, I'm just building a treasury, which is where these little dudes will put more gold over time. I think I'm going to have to expand over here in the scary land. Crunchy, fair enough. The voice acting on this is mixed. I'll criticise it as and when they pop up. This cultist guy is the one that you can hear now.
Stand no chance against these Imperial guards. Build a beast den before you attempt to engage them.
Corey does like to natter on. The cultist likes to talk quite a bit.
Prisons are an excellent
Usually
place
complete
to
nonsense, to be
defeat
honest.
Let them age like a fine wine.
Okay, there we
while
go.
you decide what to do with them.
So he says, make a beast then. So, interesting little feature on this one.
Powerful beasts by upgrading your beast
Oh,
den.
I didn't know I could do that.
Open the veins of evil and unlock it now.
So basically,
The Scar has entered your dungeon.
see what I mean? He talks and he talks and he talks relentlessly. Right, so basically, your beast den. Cool little thing about this one. So in Dungeon Keeper 1, the monsters were very varied. You had humanoid ones, and you had some more monstrous ones like dragons, spiders, that sort of thing.
Your minions
Dungeon
are
Keeper
under
2
attack.
received a bit of criticism for some of the monsters being a little bit too humanoid, because I think they were trying to not go too far with the 3D elements. I'll zoom in on some of this combat taking place here. So the green flowers, or the green little symbols, they are my minions, whereas the white ones are the Empire, which used to be the goodly heroes in the other games. You can see them being put in the prisons here.
Your minions are in combat.
Yep, you said that, and you're probably going to say a lot more. Okay, so I'm going to explain this interface here. So, War of the Overworld, its key and unique mechanic is this Veins of Evil, which is supposed to allow for some sort of leveling up choice as you go through the game. I imagine this is going to become quite linear as people decide what unlocks they like and what unlocks become most effective. As well as that, I don't think it's capped. To accumulate this energy for the Veins of Evil, so far I think that your workers study for it, your cultists, but I'm not too sure. Let's do what he says, because otherwise it won't let us progress.
Beast den upgraded.
And you notice that that's now gone to 0.
A shadow has entered your dungeon.
Ah, and we
The
have him.
shadow slinks along darkened corridors and seeks out the strongest foes it can find. And when it strikes, it will do so with deadly precision, leaving them a crumpled mess of giblets before vanishing back to the dark.
So he says. Now, what I originally did with this is, the first time I ever played War for the Overworld...
A Bafu has entered your dungeon.
Oh, okay. We'll talk about him
Bafu is
first.
a winged terror who will aid your attempts to free my minions. Its terrifying screech heralds my revenge.
As Raskos suggested, the Bafu is indeed a terrifying force of wing and claw. While sightless, it has no trouble finding foes, and will easily slice your enemies to ribbons with its terrifying strikes.
There we go. So they like to give us a little bit of lore on this. Maybe a bit too much, I don't know. I'd like to be able to right-click and do other things whilst he talks, but you kind of have to sit and listen to that. You know, I want to hear it, but I don't want to skip it. Sorry. I want to be able to do things whilst I listen to it, as much as looking up close at the guy is fairly interesting. Okay, yeah, Beast End. Basically, unique thing, creates beasts. You get X amount of them here. You can look at your minions under the unit tab here. Beasts seem to be more disposable than minions. Minions seem to be able to serve purposes, do jobs, like research, build traps, train, that sort of thing. Whereas the beasts are very much, they just come in droves, and you've got a lot of... they're expendable, is the best way how to put it. Now I'm in a little bit of trouble because I may have built this treasury a little bit too big. What do they call it? They call it a vault because they don't want to call it a treasury. There you go. Yeah, I may have built it a little bit too big and a little bit too ambitious. We're going to need to get some gold from somewhere, so I think we're probably going to end up getting in some couple of fights before this is over. Now, in the previous games, and I keep doing that, even though the guys that made this, nothing to do with the old Bullfrog team to my knowledge, basically you used to pick up a minion from somewhere and then drop them where you wanted to put them and they'd start attacking. On this, they've got these little banners here which I can access at the side. Double swords are minions, this one is beasts. So if I want to command all my beasts to come and attack, I place that down, and the horde should be coming as we speak. There we go, there's the Bafu, the Oculus. Don't worry, it's not a console that you put on your head. Oh, but the Gnarling has already knocked down the door. So I'll tell you what, we'll push them a little bit further. See how far we can go through here. Kill them all! And there you go, I'm going to get my other minions to get involved in the fray. So there's no actual fighting going on here, we're just knocking down doors, but it helps the little guys because they can't do it that fast. Now, so one of my little qualms that I've got with the game is regarding animations. So walking around and running, these guys are a lot smoother than they used to be. They look nice, they do what they're doing, but there's a couple of issues that I don't like.
The enemy.
So I'm going to look at that fight now for one of the things that I do like. Combat-wise, these guys have some beautiful animations. I'm going to show you that now.
Fighting the enemy.
Here's one of the Empire's traps. It's a ballista. And that's it getting steamrolled, apparently. Aha, there we go, a dwarf. Again, being steamrolled. Ugh, I think he's underneath that, I'm not too sure. Basically, my compliments to the combat animations, because they look really, really, really nice. That's important for these games, because on the previous ones, they didn't look that good.
Portal. Time is short for me, Underlord. Please, get a move on.
You're dead. You shut up. I'll take my own time, okay? Let's see. I think he's dead anyways. Moaning about me. What's he thinking? So, he looks like he's going to cause trouble for us. He's a level 10 bard. It's the first time I've actually seen a bard or an inquisitor. The heroes in this look amazing to me. I think there's something really cool about the design. In fact, that's the first time I've seen these ladies as well. I think they are the succubus or the succubi. Not too sure. I think it's succubi for multiple ones. We'll figure it out. Let's go in there and kill this inquisitor guy.
You've claimed a torture chamber.
He looks like he's bad news.
This room can be used to corrupt or execute imprisoned enemy minions. For your own. if you woke up feeling particularly nasty.
So
Your minions are being attacked.
this is one of the more fun.
These racks have 2 modes.
Ooh,
The
hello.
first will allow your succubi to corrupt enemy units and bring them under your dominion. Alternatively, you can click the prop to toggle it to its execution mode, which will burn the unfortunate victim to a crisp, spawning a spirit for you to command.
So here we
Some
go.
succubi have joined your dungeon.
It is succubi.
These vicious temptresses are happy to ensure that guests of your torture chamber are comfortable during their stay. In battle, they will seduce their targets with a charming wave of their demon hand, leaving them helplessly infatuated.
I don't think I'm too keen on that model. Like, seem a little bit. Let's have a look at it. Really bloody different.
Juicy and tender.
I suppose they're all right. I don't know. I always imagine a succubus with wings going on, or a little bit more. But she just looks like a human in armor. There's not a great deal going on. I see the claws, but there's no tail, nothing like that. Nothing that distinguishes her as a demon per se.
One of your minions has lost his car keys in a rather unfortunate place. A large force of Raskos's minions lies to the west.
So
However, it looks heavily defended.
let's
If you feel
start.
confident with your army's strength, you should head to the east,
Uh-oh.
for there are no reinforcements to be gained. You will
Okay, this guy's
encounter
coming
far
in.
less
So let's
opposition.
take care of him. Goodbye. as a overlord, I nearly said dungeon keeper then.
Delicious.
You've got kind of like
There's something not quite right.
see that's the human voice actors. Some of them are good,
A little porker.
some of them are bad. That that is not.
The mold really give it some flavor.
What is he even talking about?
Delicious.
Just complete nonsense. Apparently he's having a bad time, but he's sat in the prison going delicious.
I could do better.
Right. I'm going to torture him just for winding me up. So hopefully this isn't set on execute. We'll find out in a bit, won't we? Yeah, he looks like he's having a bad time-ish. I'm disappointed. He's just lying on top of it there. I imagine something bad is happening. Let's go torture a dwarf. Maybe they're more vocal. And speaking of the dwarves, the voice actors for them are incredible by contrast. Maybe not this guy. But there was a dwarven voice actor on the last one. Really, really, really good voice. Some of the heroes, they sound like absolute ponces. And that might be the intended idea behind it, to have Ponzi lord, but they don't sound like a threat per se. And I've been trying to get my head around this actually, because when I played Dungeon Keeper, I would have been going back years now. I would have been a kid basically, and when I played that, I was playing a game with content way above my age. I should not have been playing that game. But I loved it. I absolutely loved it as a kid. It was zany, it was a little bit crazy, and I'm not too sure if... Hang on, let's drop these ladies in here and see if they'll get to work. Nope. Sorry, gents. You're just going to have to stay there. Torture... What does that mean? I wasn't listening to him when he said about the toggles. Nah, we'll figure it out.
I don't know anything. Let me go.
Oh, that looks painful.
There's blood in my beard.
What is going on here? Okay, we're going to have this guy as our scapegoat. So it looks like he's having a bad time there. And I can't remember what on earth I was on about. So never mind.
It's not my fault that I'm here. It runs in my family.
There you go. Let's see what happens. He might convert or he's going to die. One or the other.
Damn
I don't see any succubi around, so I imagine he's going to die.
Has entered your dungeon.
Yep, there we go.
Spirits brought into this world through torture will wander aimlessly through the depths. Invisible to your enemies, they will return their visions to you before they expire to the ether.
Let's get working. I have a feeling that this guy's going to join us when she's done doing what looks like attacking him. That should be a unique
corrupted in your torture chamber.
thing. Ooh, there we go, my first hero. And it's a bard. Oh god. No, why did you make him a dirty Frenchman? I mean, not dirty. His clothes aren't dirty, but he's a bit sleazy, isn't he? Let's see. Let's see where he goes off to. Okay, criticism time. The idle animations for the minions is a bit on the lazy side. Half the time I'm trying to think, what are you doing? Why are you there? What is it you actually want to be getting up to? It's not very clear half the time what's motivating the monsters to, like... So here's a good example. We're looking at a tavern here. Half of the time they don't sit down, they don't drink, and it's a shame because the developers have made these awesome looking chairs. They've got bottles on the table, but they don't really do anything with it. You just build it, and apparently they're supposed to use it. You never see that happening, which is a shame because for a modern game released in 2015, the stuff we can do has changed a lot from back then. Currently, as it stands, if you're a little bit short on pocket, you should buy Dungeon Keeper 2 if you like what you're seeing here. If you want to support the devs, buy this one. It's got a £20 price tag on it when Dungeon Keeper 2 has, I think it's less than £3 you'll be paying, because it's on Good Old Games for like $5 or something. The point is, if you like the style of game, Dungeon Keeper 2 will do it at the same level. It won't look as crispy or pretty, but at the same time it will run on older systems. This here, it suffers a little bit from...
were just as battle hungry as you.
Yeah, a little bit.
Your unfortunate minions will have to rest occasionally. However, you can relocate their sleeping quarters by dropping them upon an unclaimed lair tile. Or if you're feeling a bit less helpful, by selling their existing lair.
What was I saying? Right, so I'm going to move away from the conflict so I can actually talk. Yeah, game-wise, the features of War of the Overworld, they're not that unique. It's not unique enough yet to have me recommend this for value for money over the Dungeon Keeper games if you've never played them. You're obviously supporting them if you do, but they've had a Kickstarter campaign, they had a good, what felt like a year and a half or 2 years of early access on Steam to support them. Updates have still been a little bit slow, and I'm disappointed that with the amount of time they've had, the game is still in the state that it's in.
Your minions are under attack.
A lot of the, especially quite noticeable amongst the heroes, they have placeholders rather than names. So he's an Inquisitor, as you can see there on the screen, where it says prison. He's a fire breather, he's a warden. But this guy here, the golden one, says missing prefabs unit vanguard name. And I'm pretty sure that's not his name. I just have a feeling. So here we go, let's pop those two dwarfs over there.
I'd apologize for leaving no gold for you, but I never really expected another of my kind to come here.
He's too friendly to be another another overlord. I don't know why he's being helpful. It's not normal. Let's see. So, I'm going to pop these guys here. I'm going to end this episode so we can keep the time short. If you like what you've seen here, let me know and I will do more War for the Overworld. I'm going to keep doing some Dragon Ball Xenoverse. Don't worry, I haven't stopped that. I'm just trying to keep that down to weekly updates, so I can do other bits and bobs on the side as well. This has been Rocktek, a Rocktek gameplay. Tune in if you want to see more War for the Overworld. Take care. Bye.